523 na yentie de wo and my editor my name say and the Honorable Sarah Adwoa Sarfo Esquire Ewo Studio Hanyame Adwoa beka yensa former MP for Domekwa Benya constituency. Honorable Akwa net saying Bibia Boko
me ho ye na so e
Adomia na your friend is say Domekwa Benya ya boko de
Nyame adom bibia boko mumpa ebonti ye ho.
Oh, that's nice. Wow. Let me see, for more in no parliament for how many years? MP for how many years?
You me da say obi maminchia metie for won tie titu ne won ai wo Domekwa Benya empesua so mechia wo nyina hemfo ene asofo akese mesa so achia me papa Apostle Dr. Adwoa Sarfo and Krista Sarfo and Manina Michia party mpanyimfo so na will be sase me tna amrahye bedwa ekonya ne so ma me manfo e wo Domekwa Benya mfie dodo sen na metna so 12 years.
Oh, it's 3 terms.
Me call 3 terms. Me call 2013. And I'm exited 2025.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That's 3 terms. And the experience was memorable. Are you would want to live that experience again?
Yeah, it's a memorable experience. Me ko na mebunu e wo ho nhye dan no so inti me fa ne se ye mu bia ne ye sa ye mma no na ye mebunu no na ye nye bi da ene ye di kopie ho mamo 29 patron inti ye ko ye hwe djuma no se ne ye ko nkakra ye ko nyame so so boy so one way you no na near opposition into 2012 elections and Demiko Ra into 2013 na me opposition NP into boy me pa ma misua parliamentary work it sounds that we need a by office be a oko and I say we need other responsibilities into now me te efie ho and ye hwe se ne edikanfo say chairman sabonsu obi amu dobi obuafo the late dobi obuafo ne ye hwe se ne a jowa ne ye hwe se ne omo ye omo niema ene ye disua aye nti me second term and
me call into leadership and
me patch
okay, into leadership was 3rd term and now 2nd term. You
2019.
That was 2019. 2019 should be your.
Okay. 2017. No, 2017.
2017. I'll call into leadership.
Me patch 2017.
That should be your 2nd term.
My 2nd term, yeah. Me patch.
And I'll be a deputy minority leader.
Majority. And I ba power 2016. Me patch.
Sure.
Tia ba ben mu no. And me rise it to be.
Meaning say after 1 term as a backbencher, no. Next term, no, I'll be a deputy majority leader.
Me patron.
Oh, that was a sharp rise.
And I'm many about the kaya with Timitina Sakunya.
Okay, that was a sharp rise.
Anything and I may shas and we say ye coy and I opposition.
Yeah. It would to Busian.
Opposition no utna utuasi now ut's nephew ho. Now if you wear Juma rules, bills, committee works. Just say unya dajia eboapa and I'm happy say some no many the current majority leader any every mu at the same time the current whip any every mu at the same time in the some no cause backbenchers and say no man no gidi power ho no mu na me share wo mu mienu finfin na and so we me hu ne say adwuma me yire me hu sua ye because me call parliament and so man practice it.
Okay.
It's my first 4 years. Though my firm, not my law firm, no what dear, but my farm boom. It's answer. No me see me boss baby amakono. A ho near man on me pese me sua. Na me hu adwuma ne so yi. Nti Yakobon so ye madom.
And for you when you became deputy leader of the majority side, am as a surprise to you? You had prepared for it.
Oh, me can say yes. It came as a surprise.
Okay.
Na ye ba mu obia wo baby ano wo hwe say ye pese ye de ne ko and all that. Inti na ye hwe say ebia ministry bi ana say but man dan dream say ye be mama tena efie honom. And na oba bia nso the ma na uti anim was leadership. Aya deputy whip. Second deputy no. And aya na etayo oba. Inti me call parliament no na minority deputy whip na oyo oba no chair women's caucus. Aya honorable Natoshi Ado. Mechiano pa. Inti na and then on the other side Haji Abafo honorable Doyo Munyina. You know the trend in practice e wo fie ho no na akwa say e ma no na se bia ye twato. Inti say wo ba be immediate leader of a whole caucus leader ni ho no mo a una ye government business una woni speaker sheshe ne we say here business committee una we even committees of parliament just adwuma no edoso and at the moment so we oba leadership no imba na ewo mrashe bedwam ho nyina ho ano boabo ano so automatically no una wo chair the women's caucus inti me danyame asese sa kwenya no ebeto me na so na me danyame asenso say it's in the hands that oza bibia wo ye bia no chima eba no wo mo kan a wo mu behu modene bo a so bo e wo mrashe bedwam.
Leadership is concerned no you broke the glass ceiling, right? Not just a now obia or babia meye either minority or majority leader
deputy mpacho deputy de na obia entna say kunyane so eda.
That's interesting. Wow. I think we've not really made noise about that aspect. No?
I
think it's a good one. You said that making noise about
inti me share ni mu and a trend no so atwaso inti me honorable ma part Patricia Apeji also abaye the second inti me wa rehemu say me bi beba ye nuanom ne dondodo for ya majority side no almost oba betimi arise either to be a whip or a deputy majority.
My member opportunity to speak to this that perception say you've ridden on the back of Opapa to get where you are even as a backbencher first term, second term, what be a deputy majority leader. Really, there are those who believe say, oh, Adwoa Sarfo de ne papa na pulling along in a political career. Then our kafas asem no.
Oh, ni edi kan me ka se ye adepa. Enya ade boni. Obi ani modern bo me papa wa bo e wo man yi mu. Ene na sorry ne kese edoma okura eba abodi empense mu ne mu hwehwemu which is science technology obi anim ne contribution enti say me fairly with this name a big failure enti me de me susu say me papa din e bata me ho esa obo e de to ho e kwan e wotwa de to ho mpo ena ma ya gye me wo me mpeso ya so enti me ntimi ntwe me ho free eno ho in any way. Ne momo so no say o riding on that back and I say o disa na mo nwa tutu una sisi o papa de na sisi mo ne yede ukoduru a se be ukoduru ho so anyo na ebe ye adwuma ne de ama nti e ho no na so di abeda wo so say edin kese bi en anamo mu na wugina nti e wo se mo so uhwe na ututu na esi yie na de edumunyam hyeba nti meka ne say rising e wo parliament Edeba be first female deputy majority leader no. E wo se me papa modene bo ena de me call mrashe bedwen which is the largest constituency e wo Ghana. Inti votes a ye de bae no. Na ye cha ye yi me fi mu a enye yi. Na emom no ye besa ba mrashe bedwa fie ho no mpanyimfo wo ho me beto adikanfo edin mpo se ba akofo mpo na didin ne beto ho a ye be bisa ne ya hwe ye be ko hanzard mu oba first time then na why din sronko na mo ahu na meka se mra na minnim no nso eboae mrashe bedwa baabi wo ho no mo a eno na ye adwuma ne paa wo mrashe bedwa mu so be du ho no na cameras no se be minimum media for no mo adwane eno ye kwan ya ye fa so aye de emra bills no be first reading won say second reading third reading and then a passage sa process no eno ni ene ye de hwe we eno ni adwuma pa ye ka se wo wie emra hye bedwani a e wo se wutime ye eno na me ka se me to me bo ase me kwa ene mani so wonwunan I ka we sorry and I delete insert and I move and I have bit wording but me bo modne e ko tratra mpanyifo e bi nchen e ma wo mo kire inti me first time there metimi aka say na e ba bills say ye yemra wo pa ba na de bia wotimu a woni omo ya na me ka ho bi inti me susu se me papa din no Adwoa na mom me so me modernable and me credentials and so Adwoa me papa
inti now this year then we know you are no longer in parliament presently then as far as politics is concerned then
politics CCA no sanya wini no NPP amanyuku beko abato 2024 na anko year maye no ye regroup ye rebuild ye restructure the whole party inti emwa ye so yetime ye de aboa sa dwumadie no restructuring regrouping rebranding whatever na ebema 2028 ye betimi akogina kun nanim na ye yetime yedinku nim no eno na ye nyina sisi ye ewo so na we so unim be adwen so se niam bebre so bekoso dwumadie bebre bekoso kra nsana abato na duru so ye be internal elections and ho nkeka ho nti ni nyina mu no afei na we hu so we unity we consult we nti ni nyina no ye wo mu bia ye hwe ni ya hwe ni ya we ya carry nipadom na epe especially party positions no it's an say party ni the winning power na ye be stronger na yetimi 2028 election.
But should we be surprised say you unfoni be on a ballot paper for 2028 elections? Should we be? And as we should not be surprised. In the enfane say enye ye wan say be ye hu say Adwoa Sarfo say be contest or domeko abenya, for example. Should we be surprised?
Me hu ni say emrenin so for sankomodie no domeko abenya ye ade makoma ewo mu pa ewo mo ho na eyempeso anso a presidential election ehu hia papa if sanse te say impeso be enum ayaka abum inti emma dodo ogu ho ni pagu ho na ne meka ne se emre ne nso ye nanso emre ne so a ne meka ne se atetete ne ma bi koso ewo ho ewo dome me mpeso ya ne so ho we sorry no waka we sorry no waka ne mesre wo se party eba opposition hwe sabe unya openipa kraba polling station meeting a obrewu ono bibi anywhere motivate obi inti samos yeside sa wetime waka me ne sa beka ho a regrouping restructuring any rebranding any recapturing power na ye ka ni nyina no emwa yen ti mesere wo mo so obi ama na koma mrafom ni ye nyina ye nko back to the drawing board e die ni ye ai to osini impesu ya ne so mini abema ofa ne say MPP stronghold into uyo wanyo ubewini adi edibeyo a very complex constituency dynamics na woman one tiasia na wa ma fomo amma efom fo na amfa wo so kakra wo be ma unhunu adwuma nani so until we need the right person, one right candidate. You say here the right strategy, and the planning. Oh, and that's sorry, I know what could you now say we need Domi Quabignon. And no, Miss Rewom, so Makuma from a change the dynamics need changing. Remember a typical example. Or baby to say a boko bisa me boy, I don't crave bisa. You could free Madina. And the back Domi Quabignon in the year 2016.
Okay.
No, and a dominant incorporate now settlers a one casano, a unianum cry for, and a unianum for a craft. But and then who pass our sipato, I was unpersuaded, so I just walk aside. Baby, I am into had been said, who got to a banner, history, and saying at TNT, younger middle class of one now, at 2 1 more pet. Nkolane wo bank tini nyama na musisi omu dan kakra omunyina ekosa side nti sesa one tisa nyama na se e wodo me kwa binya na wo ka ne se me
stronghold
odi akukọ kura ko gina ho kanisa na ne ye ka no MPP udi akura odi akukọ kura ko gina ho a ubenya entisa na menim panyimfo a na e ka me ho ye de nyama bebre ne kom asofo mpanyimfo a wo ho ahemfo chese yenuanem muslimifo polling stations a na sabia bia yenwi ni kra no me bae ni yewi ni sansa man too many say aha na yesi ha nya media
but so winning strategy no did you put it at the disposal of Omoebe take you over from you no for them to be able to consolidate a juma because you seem to have some magic wand not to win the seat.
Well, Domi Kwabenyano. Yeno Santana around Adwoa Sarfo. Aya na nkrofo bi de.
Okay.
But upeu.
Adwoa Sarfo.
That is the reality. Nanso minu abema agro na ye na anaye di ne friend amanyosem no. Enye baby na odo hwene ne wano kwa hyehye wu. Ena adwuma no maye bi da. Ena me free mu. Base ne wo hostel. Yen frɛ wo na wako. Yen misa wo na wo ka. Yen ka asebra ho na wo ba. Wan hwe yard wa dream pa no kra no. Ni adanne no na akoye adwin bone. Obi a mefrɛ me.
Okay.
Yankasa fa ne wo betimi so de aye fabra. But no emu mabem. Me kan on point blank say emre bia na omo befrɛ no meba. Na otiwo ultimately hoza. So I took a decision say middle belt. Yeah baby ye fi. Ashanti region, Babuno, Bunu East, or that middle belt. No, I will be part of the campaign.
Flag bearer and a campaign.
Flag bearer campaign and a national campaign. So, me so near me nim kakra. Efa mbebunu hwano boaboa me so metimi aye edi aboa. Yakọ ye nwini. I think say I was say yetnase na adwentoatoa bia na ewo ho no yetimi aye na ekwan bia so no se konya no MPP dia wo
Domi Kwabenya
ye dia inti sa wukogina minia wukogina na wudi nkukuo wo sa mpeso ya ne so a you should bow your head down in shame.
That's for the last victory in the constituency, which was the 2020 elections. Who we knew with a gap of bare saying
28,000. 28,000.
That's almost 30,000.
Almost 30,000.
That was the gap.
I wrote from Professor Michael Kwe, Michiano.
Yes.
Onizito Kwaikwe. Yes. I think it was 24,000 for Zita,
okay.
and then he was 32.
Oh, okay.
Me bemu, me first time me free 34 no, about 68.
68,000.
Me second term me about 78. Me third term and I'm about 35. But 35 no, that is where I started. And I draw the popularity form. But minia emma wa manyo semu a to da sene ye emma wa manyo semu no. Eye bi wa na asefem. My 2020 election was time that I was pregnant during the elections.
Oh, you were? I
was heavily. If that circumstance, not three, if we saw, yes, why unpopular? Yes, you say, ye betuno, ye be yino, ye be say. But Biambisa, who say, a hin or DFE, Edu bedru. And I mean, sir, you may dear no so planning be I said any musao or buy a two, when one are two. Intimate Miaka say that was the only year Metimiaka say
votes
a drop here. And no crano, it was with a 3,000 margin. Which, given the circumstance, visibility obawonyim, Intiname nante 20 times time I mean more and name nante 10 because I'm more than a day aquaform. These were some of the things, but you could still see say on man phone. Edomi. Where in Persiano Apostle Joseph Mupe.
Oh yeah. Godfather or
yeah, oko kuroni so no na kuroni yenwura. Enti watena wa na doye na sitting power ni omanfo na tena no. Ni base ewo ho. Enti bibi sa na etochima na niema bi anko yie sa na mo ntimi an consolidate sa base na ebe kwenti apali no.
But there are those who also believe say despite the fact say 2020 said you wokan, I mean because of pregnancy ne didn't have visibility into say 2016 for example into a drop kakre bi eba.
Yeah.
But 2024 the belief is that your performance in parliament between 2020 and 2024 largely Emma grounds a dema obia obeteki over from you. For example, absent without leave. Adwoa Sarfo yenhu parliament cross over adwuma kwa yenhu Adwoa Sarfo. Sanyoman assembly is culminating in the defeat munya in 2024. How do you react to that?
No, I think say party no Anthony Mebiase a man koye say sadie nunti ye betwe adwoa so and that cost me my primaries.
And the Maulusu primaries no?
My primaries was orchestrated no credit that one no waka kwan bia so ye be yi no afi ho
because on the party na ni ye wo parliament na enum no na wan hwe ni ye a wo de party ketwa kakra no enkrofo be kwa akoto aba yi wo bi e de na kwa akogina ho na omamu ni nyinara enso mpese nipa no nie ekoso wo mrahye bedwa mu nyinara wai obie adia ne ka din wo wiase mpoma abofra wo de adia hye ne nsa o say thank you o ya de bonu so ka sorry o so wonka se maye bibi mon fanche me abofra kra ne kan ye ne din inti se panyini tenase o se niema bi na mo antemase enne koye ne ye inti mon fa me bone nche me masaba me sha ase mpo na me ba no to so mienu akosu amonima me rap parliament na afi na wadi 1 year. Oh, okay.
Me de nitna kemu yeah me de nitna kemu no me feed ni wo from samre ni nyina kosi 2020 no when who means sa e wo mrahye bedwam mete ho me ye madwuma ne wo se me ye de boa party me ye ne wo se me ye de boa oman no me ye enti mre bi adu na mu hu me na bibi koso a enti me mase eye ni da ho bone wo na sa de ne nyamisu ene me ban na mum communication sene ye betse ena me ka se emma yensem ni bi wo hono mo amanyo semu no ye no so ni ntino enti ase no uyonku ba akwa na bete wase a dodo ne ye mema 275 ayi na ye mrache bedwafo mo ye ma a se bi o meka se aye nua be oku bibi mu ntina ye hu no.
But who was supposed to do the committee? Because we say at the time, from the party's perspective, no, 137. Omanya independent candidate Bakwama 138. The numbers were tight. Inti MPBA ube start umbe will say will play with, but they would think say deliberate because you were holding all of them to ransom. Communication now we cannot find there was a communication to the party.
Me dear me susu say me communicate to nkofo a na me susu say ye mpanyufo na wo se wo mu hu. Okay. And me buy yes and me buy wo e bi kwotena radio su e di matter me colleagues e bi abadwoa na ye nim ye pawcho adwoa na ye nim ye pawcho but enye nsem nyina so na in the heat of the moment oh ye nyina nkra ne mu tudu nkra ne na me ni susu se mpanyufo e wo se wo mu hunu ne de wo mu nim e bia no mu susu se hu hia se ye de sansem ne be den e betudwa but ade ba ko a me regret it back. I will never e-levy I the bomb charge
e-levy said at the time this was a critical piece of legislation and now buying people push it through to rescue the economy. Numbers near tied. The opposition was on government said they will never allow or more just one number more than the opposition. Adwoa Sarfo also beka homa buying the 138. And you say you will not regret?
No. Oh, e-levy. Ban. Yentoboana aban pese yenjiji.
Sure.
Nipa womanfo a ewo Ghana say bia wo ye momo bank to online banking that kind of niamano. Electronic transactions.
Sure.
Ne baye no anhyehyeye ne baye no esoro ho no ye mu bi no ne yesusu se emwa Ghana.
You had that personal conviction.
Exactly. So
say 11 emwa
yen esan say me baby a me fi any baby a yetete me papa ofri grass and wako grace mu.
Okay.
Just ofri him and nyame aye no defo ene oba yen so no ne ode atete yen ne asore no ginafo eye charity eye se eboa ehiafo ye boa onibiefo inyanka na sebe minua me se ne na me hu 11 ni se me nam kwan hu na me hunu on to body ko fibro kuman just o he body ni nyina na egu ho no o boa no ko enu 500 Ghana obi ne dwa 300 na watoto a o se me maami wo ekura me sendi sika akoma no okotena so no o sendi kakra na wanya na yate no na and sit well
with you
and na many ma sorry mpanyimfo ne me papa mo so de matena sesa de amode ba no dodo no ebeko tia ni passit na mo ahokyere no be ye mo enti munyan. I was torn between my church and my political party. Some me party see yanko no, so I wouldn't even consultations are omode ye de ba first om se yenkoye engagement say wo grassroots ni nyama ni nyina no enti where be me be bia ye produce me fie which is Domi Kwabinya, which is my papa sorry for, and then my papa sorry.
Bebre no so te.
Bebre no so te ho na bebre no so sabe.
Boja for no.
Exactly. Omo na ye boja adwuma. Omo so na doors wo man ni mu. Na omo ti ade ya se, no mo reducing it to this level kokwa ya to training into so awoton na or dey ma crisis ye fa hwe ne ma me o yare ni ye te no ti ya ye hwa. Sa de ebeku atia. I took a firm decision, say I would abstain.
You would abstain
from it. Yes, I'll recuse myself. Me recuse it. And then me kadishin yamye ni munyam say, baby, me papa de me jina wa sorry ni mo. If I had gone against that, and can ne obi po accept me wo abusuya ni mu. Kwa yanya sorry na yanya sorry abusuya. Nti na ati safo baby safo. And so omo kasa and omo soon it was say yemi soon. And I'm looking forward to that day in our politics wa Ghana. Obia betimi etire mahye bedwam ho. Ebe vote because anyese party ahwepe no. Na mo constituency for ne say your party ade kura na emmoa yetimi vote against. That will enrich our democracy. Na say your quality, go ye nyina your quality.
But did you make this principled position? Who catch her party for Momo? Say this is why you don't want to be part of the vote. Including parliamentary leadership, no?
Because I didn't start with parliament.
Okay.
A government policy. It just started with cabinet. That is where it starts. And then me say omo de me bo ebebre me. Because Dr. Baumia ni de ne 2024 elections. Na o say oba onwa de a ye de ba ye 11 no. Sanke ye to man oba mpo a obeyi afri ho. Amanyo fofo ya be ye nuanom NDC fo nso bae. One of their things that budget mu si ye twa 11 mu. Inti say ya de papa na bo manfo na wo fom na mo ye dodo wo man mu ya de bia no wo mu sika wo de bedidi e de behwe fie ahwe emu etoatoa so no minwe na ukoti no sa tax na what dream bua we saying it me for me hu ne say sa mre no ne na asori ne meka ne na me papa eka ne na nsori mpanyimfo ne bebre nso keka kire ye mpanyimfo so ade amode bei ebe ham no ayentie no ahayen.
And that's why at the point Umbeki is our principled.
I made that principled decision because and then no kase Domi Kwabinya na nu nkofo bi koye press conference say Adwoa Sarfo ne na sorry for anto aba hwe yenko pe data ni enhwe asofo ene sorry no dodo ne asori efomfo na wan sorry no dodo a anto abo amba we so because omko tutia yen bebre ne hye wo madwe mu positi wo madwe mu pise aba we ye nkoto why ilevi kan adentia ilevi kan.
My point is I like the fact you took that principled position. Of course, I mean we all encourage for such critical decisions in parliament nankebeya MPBA enko down now on the man for encoding komo, and then he would carry the expectations and aspirations of the man for in parliament. And it's good for you to have taken that principle, but at least something that democracy needs. But the point is, at the time, even with this position, there was this pestering say Adwoa Sarfo baby Obia should come. In fact, we heard stories say Chief of Staff Rezi Kebi, my colleague MPB the Braille, ostensibly to make sure say you are back, yet say the chartered flight about US to bring you back to Ghana and in Sembebre. What was that about? And was there there?
I don't know, me kasa me can say in 70 bi wo honi allegations ni bi wo hono mu a me baaye no ebi mu hia wa Adwoa ne yenim fa che who raise sika chief of staff sebio ofi asante.
Yes.
We any age now oni me papa mu ne boso ni president Kufuor mu ne boboso yeni no pa it is a me maami anti frame ma baby awo bi amechia ma anti frame me friend on chief of staff me friend ma straight cause o me ma me in problem me adea or the best ma will be na wo abeka. That is my point, because the relationship between Yanya Busuyan and no Busuyan or Chuka or Bami Papa was straight. Inti middle man or so woman, ya ready to come on no the better account. And I stated there were Nana ya brainful network. So now I'm saying Panacrasia and $1. When I'm so fidelity in check or the Fidelity bank account and I kind of fidelity. I don't even have $1 account in Fidelity. Inti na account no do go 2 more Fidelity no ewe. Wow, asemba na politics no obiat na se no esan say ebia ofili say amanyo sem no wo kododo yenka bi ne yembreki no wow politics no ye niam bebre entwitwa chire entwitwa nan american say anansi ntwitwa bebre ne wom. People were just making noise out of the vacuum.
Just concocting stories.
Cause Niama say quite da ho. And at the time, na me se men kasa.
Yes.
Esansi enginan krani mun tutun krani. And at those who knew the real facts and so mon kasa. Into obi atena so boni sire mo na akotena no waka ne ope. Ah no mu din so mu de say Adwoa Sarfo ne yi na freedom me kwa benya na nanim agu ase. And ne do me kwa benya. The moment for Nankasa is after Adwoa Sarfo back. But whether or not I will contest, no, it is a decision I will take with my family.
And who you take
it?
We'll come there and find out. You are saying, sir, the narrative, sir, Chief of Staff, the Sikasumai.
And no correct. I refute it.
That did not happen.
It did not happen and it can't happen. Me, yeah. Omo kana sa, yemu be able to that extent too. Yen ye de hu Apostle Kwadwo Sarfo ye fie na ye fi no ye de ye hu enye obi na be ma usika e na me Adwoa Sarfo ma fi abrocham na abroche na obi na de me koy no iti ye kasa me enka ne tisa se nipa no se be ye kofa ni free kwan wo ni renti ye kope bibi debi efia mi fi mo no se me yes ga me papa na be ma miska enye political party na se ne mu ye insuma sa de abetuja obi amfa kapre amreme and na ministry $1 account e wo Fidelity ani pane so de kogu ho no and I will say it oh nana omo yade na scheme no ma scheme ya to the extent say e was obi yes apostrophe nsuo mu
yeah e be catch you say
internet was here pe yes
somebody who is close to you
yes e kofa obi a o ben no ana woni no na ono so tie asem a se bia wo misem on hwehwem se ne de man no na no akọ presenting is amwa but I took a decision say baby amode ko faaye no me masini mu mafi ho into for the sanctity of me busua ne me ma no nya ne sa na and let it go.
And that's why at the time one make us that allegation no
exactly e be back and forth in quality wa na kwa say baby me baby am yetete me pa o into me kama no to mu se emrepa mu no na me nsuma yeden
ma be come side of the story into emrepa no eni but the thing about a private jet say mfa me fa wo mra no did that also happen?
Also private jet. a number of things happen no credit wo kan e be boa
yes
yeah, the tagi say Adwoa Sarfo private jet abefa Adwoa Sarfo me boa
yes
me tuma MPP mpanyfo bebi obi ate
yes
say private jet ba mpo a e Adwoa Sarfo nkwa na ye defa na I'm asking them and then you see ye rebuild it ye regroup it ye restructure into no kura na ne won krofo eyemu eye omo ye nyina so obi aka me bisa wo mo say so mo say Adwoa Sarfo akofa private jet ye de na ma me bisa say the private jet ni mpo e ba ya na Adwoa Sarfo enkwa na wa ma no ne at that time kwa na nyame enkwa na me wa ma no ne and that was the pain
enti at that time na why no na wa ma no ne hobi and as a private jet one why na fro ba Dear cannot cry, you may be in some nani. Now, we are healing. Very important.
I will say on authority say, Nanya Menkua, and I'm a private jet in post a family.
But it's clear, say by.
And I make us say, what the private jet and I say plane never find ni panocran. At that point, Adwoa Sarfo and I mean, I mean, say, and eh. Into your car and no best spread them more. No more share corners and so I buy and so no more so normal. That is what's my point. When you're not me famous or background, maybe a deputy leader. Yet near back on our side. And also caught to a similar situation. We managed it. Now me honorable HMS Abun, so now me any deputy. As the chair of the women's caucus. I managed it in such a way, say, Obiante, no, say, a deputy minister count. Obiante, Moshi, Copim so, yeah, ne watching, yeah, be yeah, ne button, yem, and your money buy. We make sure, see, any speaker, engaging them. A dana. A drew be dear, so dear. Leadership, a bit me koto airtime, ye ninatem. Where, when him, a drew baby one. Parliament, ye were ruby war. Any practice, acquire custom. Adia we are net waswa. Obie the deputy leader penya. Leaders net cheaper and a wasotna. What the making you say? She baby harunati.
Sure.
She baby amutakati.
Yes.
Ye me. Uni baby a democrat nai. They put me at the back bencher after I failed my parliament.
Really? Exactly.
For General Secretary Nebisano. It may bar down. No. There was a bill and I was say your parliament near Copasi. And no by them say General. Where me your bentina moya mesa. If you want me to go and vote on that bill, Munfa me need mammy say me a former leader. Na Munfa me seat in Cotina baby. Who be way and yamia. And yamina me yes seat. The majority whip, he is responsible for seating arrangement. Into a means a deputy leader and not deputy whip.
Backbench like a first timer in parliament. And away na why come hono.
Entina make us repemu make us na make us mu pa mo freno sasema make meboa. It was the general secretary and then your deputy whip Sisia Habib. And honorable Habib ne gina wo mo na so. Ekoyi me din free akire ho. E ka sa Adwoa ha ne de ne betna.
And we general secretary ben
yeah, Kodua time. Me buy ya 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Muslim Samra Parliament, I'm saying, Senia, mo put Mudima Kotina backbench. Be a more yes, I will name as leader no cry, leaders no. Mu be better me one Rasha Bedra womb. And it is a rule. Honorable Speaker, now or ye leader no, na me say na mini parliament. But your real mono sitting arrangement, there's no way I'll bet him in a Kotina today. Honorable Virginia, ye me counterparts. Or no, a minority deputy, and they ye no. Na near fee parliament no. She baby omo de netanai. A day na me your bar. Na me di e kunyani be pen as a leader of parliament. Na upese se misunsun na udumu no. Se ni time na upese o time na me ninka ho. Wo yi me kunya e de me ko share chire to say me a backbencher. A day. 12 years in parliament.
But until on the day of the e-levy vote, no, you were in parliament, right? Eventually, after the principled position, we saw one day Senate voting because Adwoa Sarfo ended parliament. Now she nose mask, and there was this argument. Hey, Adwoa Sarfo, Adwoa Sarfo. Were you the one?
Nehemia.
Are you sure?
Somewhere Nehemia.
You had come down from US. Now about from US.
Yeah.
And no na some time na private jet never farm about.
No, me koba bebre. With me at that point, yes. Situation na me woman tina me koba. And me bisa permission bi ane de me ko. Na ba ko ekoto me ba panyini ne de ne sa koto me no. And ma me che. But sa dan na me but na me mu ayedu. Na ma oba bia me wuvia me huhuru aha na emia but me nim those within na omo so sa orchestrate yes and ye we and ye me nua na fine ko see wo ba
there is no officer your orchestration
am I your no
to tarnish your image
exactly me sana me hu no and what you say plan A and plan B beba but to the extent say Yabeka say say me say yen afenyo marking as deputy leader member afenyo minu upa friend is here and me bow down no when some of them see senior mene the current majority leader ye din komo they were surprised omotimi gina wo hwedi na me say motimi bom semu ka asem na munnim se nipa no kra oye busuani wini ba ho na ono aba afenyo wo no ho na me papa ete ne cars na nyama no o ti se menua obefie behu oluman no okọ no oba eti den no obetimi kwotena wo se me se yenyi afenyo amemma as deputy leader na ya fa memma na machina na no obi akoto OKFM no woteso no odi matem anopa awia no hodi party ni to ransom ne ewen me charge mu sen ana me de then me ye say 29-year-old akola na me ye me practice imra me gina mu den na me de to ho na me papa bie nyuma bebre a metimi ahwe abusua adwuma no na me se da bi me de me hu to ho e de ama me manfo akomra hye bedwam. That is my only sacrifice. I mean, yeah, say Adwoa inti ye persecute no ni say in a political career. And so ani and ni akoso wodo me kwa benya no. Baby a party ni penyi bia hye bia no. The writing is clear on the walls. And only ye beto abani na Dr. Musa Dankwa. Yes. Or ye report bi na ba me wo constituency for I've been there for 12 years. Yeah, no ma share me see papa in some work no mun take na mun fanya adwuma wo. O monsieur papa no NDC for ato no and work na hwe analysis that papa ne ye nyina. He predicted me lose primaries. And me go primaries I knew the album I did to about me I knew I was going to lose. Now say the same album na mo dey previous. Debbie. Yeah. It was a different album. Yeah. At the time na omoye aba for sa polling station le na wuni ha na mini ha. It's a different album and the album from top me you be free move from a soro ko pim from na adwin ko mo nyina ko adwin kro say yenye in such a way say Adwoa no ye yi na free ho ene ye yi me free ho na metena wodin afei election anko ya say Adwoa na wanko ye campaign it's circulated everywhere in the party say Adwoa mabeye unpopular in the constituency. Inti ye de me kwa ye belusu. Omanfo ne mpeme. Omanfo ne mpeno. Omanfo ne mpeno. Into obi omanfo ne mpeno no. Afa esi de na obeka say wo lusu election no. E Adwoa Sarfo a oye unpopular no. A ye mpeno no. Ono a wa menti ene wa lusu. It doesn't sit well with logic. It makes sense to me. Intimate a na Adwoa yes wan kwa ye campaign o malusu so ye wan kwa ye campaign me sere. Because if my brand Adwoa Sarfo was still intact at the time I must say yem pemena intact sa na namu de mu hunu a then why do you turn your oboda no hu biom sa beka say ade na enye intact no brand no Adwoa Sarfo brand no yem pe biom we billboards akwa no de ye ni posters big ones be me papa sorry dia obekọ no ono ne picture ne Dr. Baumia ne boso isi ewi eche say ya mamwa campaign me billboard e bi ya me papa sorry dia o obi a metu sika man kan say meje me billboard esisi wo no brand de ne dia totototo so ewi ye say
you give it out
for free say me MPP ni man ko parliament enu je say me MPP bi nti mo fa na mo fa nya adwuma ena yesi wanye hwe ena wamwa yen ena wamfa yen kosini na billboard nponka wukotua for 6 months krank ye beje osen nti nyama bu ayen fa sika yen quantify no ni ehu se nipa no waboa everywhere na me boys yi enam no mo posters omo Dr. Baumia posters omo t-shirts e wo market ne nyama me na metu omo ka no mo ye because drume bi no me namu a na me hu say visibility cause constituency e so pa me se mo omo pa omo ko bisa director of operations no ye for a Dr. Baumia campaign so one ma me t-shirts ne posters no ma me t-shirts ne posters or the boys ka me ho or the starch ka me ho ni omo be di mra na omo be bebo posters nyina omo discount ma me and so I make sure say posters no ye boy ye omu boa no mu sa Adwoa Sarfo nkofo na ebo a ni eti nam se na mo te no enye Dr. Baumian na mo ha no because ye hia presidential votes ni so wo ho ne de kan ye de ho de aye bibi enti
now say for the ordinary NPP member Otiewo Eneno, when he or she remembers the back and forth in parliament with Adwoa Sarfo, Adwoa Beba, Adwoa Ma, and Adea, some of them see you as far as the party is concerned, as a traitor. And then I'll be catching will be what's arguing about you. Especially the course in parliament. Maybe if we say said that you wanted to push your way through, maybe an hour per way, and let me hold the entire party to ransom. And then I'll be catch a party, maybe what's arguing.
Yeah, make a show money said, didn't say you were ya. And now, yes, say we are Nipana or saying across one.
Yes.
I want me to be an soon cocasa, some mamma can me boy, and Abonia may do my me. Makopani choku kwemu wontimi
yes
nti aya na da so hihye nkrofoti ntimi da aseso amame we fidie su akwanya metimi acheche nsem nti so bia atene sa Adwoa Sarfo waton party no Adwoa Sarfo ayese hwe entimi masada emra na dome kwa abenya abaya ye 2 year na entimi declare omo so omo koye rerun ewo one polling station bin.
Sure.
BBC wo ho. Me wana mpanyufo fresh say o. Ye meeting bi na
for ben.
Oh,
party mpanyufo.
Party mpanyufo okay. General secretary no wo ho. Okay. Campaign manager no wo ho. Okay. Me papa Macmenu ni mpanyufo bebre no mo wo ho. E no mo frey. Me maame chief of staff nso to me nkra say me momode ne ana me nko. Me koye na abamu a ugina wo dome kwa benye ono so ti ho bi chenchina ye mamimpi na ontime ne mentina iba
Michael Kwe Junior say ontime ne ontena post election meeting no
into opeso omo ka asem bi wa abonten no oni omu pie me so me nua me jodia but me nye push over sao se me ka chensa nya onu ntina mu meeting no ye fcheda frame ena maba inti se wose me free meeting ni mu a emma so na eji so no soreko because emremu kura no me my 23 years at the bar
oye junior
we me junior at the bar you can't tell me say me free meeting mu na obra a former leader ena mpanyifo ko ne ko kikan ano musa betena ase ena meeting ni ko se ye kwadwo ne bo see ye kwaka say ye bubo mpanyifo bi so mo no mafre and the decision at that meeting was so critical say eboa ye nyina enti ya po meeting no na maybe catch mpanyifo no ba ko say mo hu atmosphere Adwoa ankoye campaign wo dome kwa benya meeting kra mo muti mo aya frɛ kra no obi feel it threatened say me fi meeting into aden no oye campaign na
anka obekọ ho
me kọ ho a na me nua me nka nwa menu mu me ka de hye me nyankopon din animunyam ene adwuma pa me papa ye say enne me tisi do me kwa benya edom edi machi no into oye program na me kọ ho a he will be intimidated into e wose kwan bi aso no fa kwan bi so na me mma na me so me ahoden no enya restricted do me kwa me be join MPP man ka se do me kwa benya adwuma kwa na me be yo inti trobo minu aba ho ye meko ho ye campaign meko okoboy ho ye campaign metimi abobo bebre me ye campaign no but baby I didn't need baby I need e wo no e wo say wo di need inti wunya need wo baby awo a na chenchena awo for say ye ma need there be an yama recognition ti me sremo ni obi ati ye bia ba Adwoa Sarfo mmofrey kra aminu abe ma me no ka say o makopia ma no ne. It was during 2012 elections.
And I would
because my life was being threatened, including that of my children. Me driver din call me my school twice. So
really?
Exactly. 2012 election we finish here. That is where we uncovered the election fraud. Say bibia koso near court and a year we gidi. 2 occasions. and I took a decision, say, me a politically exposed. Or my papa so politically exposed. Into me best I say, or money because about time be a young betchino. Not school afro, what's more will be Miss Minsmai. No, what master for us will be Miss Minsmai twice. It's me man in Tosun Prince, near family man Kwanza. Inti, I have sacrificed a lot for MPP. Send me met me a catamania DMPP boni. Name near maybe or honor a quote near chia. Now can near no one yardrinia. Now we'll see a brand or so we need papa.
But one thing I think in this conversation, amount for NT a year. Okase uwa bruchi na nneoma bi ana ekoso we ye wadwen se won kasa. I mean yenim se na Adwoa Sarfo ewo abruchi occasionally na wabeye video atonyom asakakra Ghana for ehu. What was happening abruchi wana now na ye de ade na ekoso, unless it is too private I won't person will be share. But what was really happening na ye de ade
me bapengini.
Yes.
My friend Ohene Sarfo in Japan. Okay. Onya medical problem. Okay. Inti ni nyina yesu so ya nkola yare ebeko. But ekwa animu no na complications ebe mu. Na ye ne nan ene nante ho asem. Edru na me kaso na me de koba. Bedru mre bi no. Oh yeah, a whole system nene hano. And to say ye had you. Abofra ni ye huno. No ko school. Ni ye hu at least one parent be a ni situation no woman no. Or show say ono na ehwe no na ye a raise a lot. A teacher for na be reporting. Headmistress na say head of school na kasa na be reporting. If you go to a stage surgery be mu, healing be mu. Social and it came to a point that I had to take a decision. I had to take a decision to be there, or mebano nioko mono, which was a 50-50 whether or ben antibium and one antibium. And now I said one antibium and one antibium and so no. We call back badakrono. Yes, yeah, the number adoption foster parent. Baby, I didn't and I know a lot of women abroad that go through a lot of these things. And yabema symbol, yabema one signal. Ni teacher be tro ebe send new email and I head of school we be say Kelvin situation or who say ebia obi odene ba no enye ne maame enye ne papa nti mo ye den. It got to a point that I had to take that decision to stick to family. And they me call ye me nya emema bebreu me baba my year one pe oba so year one ye me call bi ma nya nti I had to take a decision say me bo me de ho ban o man ho ban be mo no especially ona no bibia to yes that condition yes and then me ka de hye nyame anumunyam ni papa ni nana nso ye bibidro bebre o bibia to si ya ye ba ye kra ubisa won ani me a ona na ma ne betra Ghana 8 months emo chechire yi se we bibidro. You know my father is into herbal. Si yan chechire wom so ma ye ne omo be de na dompemu yare de aya ye fie de yin so ye obetra Ghana ha 8 to 9 months na we school online. It de ho atono sisi anya nyame adom bibia ye nti ne me sre wo mo ne se obatan bi a wo tie me onfa ne ho nhye me situation. So you had a choice to either take a political career, yes, who post that would di or man for our represent you, and they will bow that won't quantasso. One shakran swa. Yes, I begin a fluence, and we are bad time mujana mua. Now we near bay for a munia. But why didn't you resign then? I didn't know one resigning because you had made a decision, say you would want to take care of your child. I mean, me. In that same situation, I'll take the decision I will take here. And I believe every sane human being will take that decision. But then you should have let gone off something. Or minus trusty responsibility be unto you. Now a minister in charge of now agenda at the time. Yes. You could have resigned. So that everybody will see, say, okay, the person had a choice to make. We're making choice any sane human being would make.
But then you don't have to let the state also suffer.
The state wasn't suffering because in Penyufua it was a mema womote asemna se no womote ase. And I had one particular penny pa who advised me against resignation. O se ma me resign. So niebe wo mu bia no minyina mu. Na niebe kwa akosi awieye no. Na me fa ne saa. Because as obi ade ne re ahye wo mu se be ye adwuma. Na nsem bebre akoso o se opewei ene ye fa ma no o se say obi abo ne tirimu anu wo ka bibi. The moment we be resign no. Reasons ebebe chide no nso kran so ye bebre. Nti I spoke to Penyin pa and I know say o tia onim ne ho. O ka che me say Adwoa, please I beg you don't resign.
Was that the president?
There been patron.
Okay.
Na obesha because na omutse ne ekoso ase and I was writing, I was communicating to them. Usha Adwuma no ye de to ho Mama Cecilia Dapa for 1 year.
Yes.
There be o na if I had any down bone pa na me ya, why would impanyufo no engage me for that long? Because when him say yare enye nipa pese yare beto uba wo kwen
na enye boapayo.
Enye boapayo. That is why edu mre bi no oya omo say wo de obi nkwohwe na Adwoa and you are
informed the appointing authority.
Why?
The
yes, and you are periodically. Then Mama update. Now, near who he and say my banon, me baby Brianna, Ghana for a do baby crown, me ba me Hana, or I Ghana where Adwoa Sarfo is going against Zonamiti Ghana. So who is paying people to do this damage? Inti, I did Baku dear, not penny Baku Jina OKFM Kasa. Sa Adwoa Sarfo ba ye we say enwi adwuma wasa akọ or different ne to so na me friend na me say eh me patro me wa ha o me ba ofie sisi a na me call pen na me call pen ni fie
parliamentary leader
and I say oh sa o mo ka che me say wo ko and I me say ti ye kan ye no so no unfre so ni me fie me
leader ben no in the spirit of can be a woman. So to me, they say we are any family.
When they what if you actually find to the emphasis? I didn't make any say. Men dig Ghana for Yamu. So be freely say, medium Yamwa. Masre wom, Monfancheme. But media me to see muno. Nani na me comuno. Near what's a penny 40 be a womoty.
Baba enumpono Adwoa
and na be so say or tiho na ye let me set the record straight or tiho and I buy ni etiano me part
while you were away say as a because I didn't know you hadn't resigned it did not still allow you minister now will be acting in your stead keke
me part minister kuna no acting whatever I was entitled to went to that minister not me.
Really?
Yes. Inti na mo ka se me bo aban ka no. Some me ba yare o. E na me ma bo mama ne obi acting.
Yes.
Nipa na acting. Mo nko bisa ne se ne na e wo me no. Na e ba me ho ana. Nipa acting a ono sorry on net office ho. Si bibia ono na e sign ni. Enwuma kra na ebi mu me wo ho a ebi mu na o ma sha ase a o mo ye kra no. Oba yi wo twa mu sa de ma nipa foforo. Inti na Adwoa boka na me boka ne gu.
And you are saying, sir, while you were away for 1 year plus, the salary and emolument due you as minister, na nya dia eba wo ho. Na ekoni pa na o acting ho.
Me pa join.
Na okay, and I think there was this other point, sir. As minister in charge of gender, yes, president the power. As member of parliament for Dome Kwabenya for the Tuaba Emao. In almost all representation no here in parliament, were they aware of what you were going through? Make sure constituent, were they aware? No
almost now aware, yeah.
But don't you think that a hornet a bit problematic?
I know na make us say in the heat of the things na koso na motigu o masum no kran. o kan be ka was o ko na ko kan wasem kire wo mo kra onyi woni ena na adwene mu so aye ne he intem na me ba ye ne de I make sure say stakeholder engagement what me mpesua so ni mu amasofo nyina me hia wo me mamofo omo a opinion leaders nya wo mo e wo so mo te o masem no na bebre no ena tie mase enti na wo mo susu say anka party for so saba aha enti na man ye koye but I say on authority say I had people who were pushing me MPP for wo me mpesua ne so say me ko independent
really
yes me papa na mama anko they omo confuse me kura wiye na me ko am say papa omo say ni e di mani dodo no omo beboa me ne enye na do me kwa benya de me kwa kwanten krokra na metimi edi seat na edi akọ na me koduru wa na masako join pepe uni masama papa ka cheme o si da bi wawo amanyo sem no yenye ne sa babia o maboa wa pagya wa kwa koduru no enye enne na wo bete wo na wo koduru wa ensem bebre ne betimi esi nti enkasa wo koduru ho na ye kwanten kra na wo sa beka wo mo ho eno wo de anim guase abrem ena ma me cheso mo confuse me anopa wi anwumre and they went to the extent say omo refer nkrofo akọ independent omo de akọ post akese e wo ye party ni mu na de na me de me nkobi na mpanfo mohu na yesu yemfa nkọ bibi but I told them say me spiritual father me papa wo me and on one so na me political father and on one so na me sponsor me financier nti gise me ko bisa no me kan say da bia wo ye nkọ ne sa tenemu we ye mu na wo tenemu ana mu opposition kra wo tenemu na nye we nti tenemu na ko
papa frɛ wo awo
we any mama
okay nti one other thing and it's wo hwɛ as a minister, somebody can act in your stead. It is your work, and I mean, you were advised against resigning. But as an MP, Obiant Ming acted in your stead. Did you at a point consider, say, you'd resign as a member of parliament? Because your people needed representation. They needed you in parliament. And no, Ama dream was resign as MP.
Debbie.
You didn't think you had to resign as a member of parliament?
No, because MP no aya na adwuma wo saye wo mpesua so no MP ni nya wona wo ye so everything na was say ye in my absence as a member of parliament ni ye projects are na so whatever I was doing my electronic signatures and everything and I made so those letters schools and I me see I mean we completed it into my Facebook account you can even trace it so me buy immediately na me land in the crano NHI officer or constituency or me ko bia no quarter me lobby me de buy me bia no schools bia me de me get funds see nyina me ko na me buy anyone na me see there be even when I wasn't there the developmental work that had to be done in the constituencies no na ni eguso aye because anya wo na obeye you just have to facilitate na funding no say if you MP's common fund those if you get fund those if you NHIU we be making sure say the proper signatory no was so which it was me which I was doing electronically and near money bebre so ho no mo a COVID ba after COVID no after COVID ba wie no near money be ho no mo a na akoye electronical ya kaya to the extent say yes, say before some when you see you, ni akọ report me say me mba me ministry ho me si ho me nko ho onko adwuma so it started from the ministry ebu abeba na me wo ho eto dan so a yare de obia yare me to me asthmatic and COVID time no those of us who were asthmatic you at greater risk sin obia enti me nya code kakra bia na me bo wa kakra bia I tell my chief director, I say that Hajia, today I can't come to the office. Let's do a Zoom. And everybody assembles around the table. Ni a Zoom meeting and everything. Me first term 2021. Na COVID need that sujinem. UN General Assembly representation any presentation I was me. I did it via Zoom. even at the international level, I'm accepting Zoom. Adena for some health reason. And yes, they be as well. Me Zoom. Obiti me ko kase. On my office or my ministry. All the heads, ask them. I did my I'm chief director. I say, Honorable, you are one of the ministers, hardworking ministers. I mean, no my jumada. And I do you na me juma. Edu baby dear. Na ya be accept what government mu say yetimi Zoom. E my cabinet ko edu baby ye Zoom. So why do you criticize me if I'm being innovative?
And you find all of that as part of
it started and on and yes also I know the matter table and now obi Canadian me say at the point Zoom near your cabinet Zoom one year Zoom ube it had then minister no introduce Zoom the ministry because it's a novel technology because they be used to it. But COVID so by you don't have to be present at a place to be able to deliver. So you and me presentation no me office and ye Zoom na Ghana flag way actually countries say what so me ye hwe na obia from the comfort of the fear and an office. Any year presentation. And Chani akwe ni mu afa ye cabinet na mu na nkasa ye be ye ni Zoom. Why do
one other question and I'm a person me bush sound say eventually when yes, I mean I loved the fact about principled position on e-levy. Medicare ka say MPBA enya sa personal conviction na ebeboa. But you came to Ghana, went to Parliament on the day and ye truaba on e-levy, no, you voted and I said anko secret ballot, right? 11 did go for secret ballot. No.
11 near the court. That was the court that made the declaration.
Yeah, but the Parliament passed it, and they be more challenging your court, and a court affirm the decision of Parliament. And maybe say on the day na Parliament air pass no. Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. 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 Parliament
you almost schedule for another one,
for another
which
time.
I wasn't there.
I know they know.
And then I'm in the
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Yeah. Okay. But on that day, you know, Sankayan fan say to about that day, maybe obi a challenge head friend is saying speaker decision, and I was on head count. They are challenging. They was say secret ballot. And can be voted for and against based on your principled position.
I would have abstained.
You would have abstained.
Yeah.
Oh, you were that certain.
Very firm on that. Yes.
On e-levy.
Yes.
Wow.
And e-levy beba sika ya bejeje ebeboa ami enko IMF. Ewie yanko.
Yeah. And you feel vindicated with the position?
I feel really elated today. And manifesto no na trotro na yi na da Dr. Baumia ko deliver speech ewo UPS ho me nua na nkata da na wo say minimsa na mumu bi wo ha na mo. Did you see how people rejoiced? O can say obeyi 11 no. And some of us were firm. Sa dey we
emeboa
one car enyana ebedi enu kra no but yentimi so before the elections.
Yeah. I mean, listening to you, and I think that principled position was good, but why didn't you speak about it that time? No, because the point is Sena I mean, because I
on air or where?
Maybe a post on Facebook, maybe something. I mean, we also the point is people are holding that against you.
That's my point.
You took the government to ransom. Meanwhile, you were carrying the position of your constituent
and my church
and your church as well. A church which has
over 1.5 million following.
Maybe you should have come out at the time. Nanka, then your position is clear. Say, okay, this is my party. I will not vote for or against, but I would abstain. That's a principled position. And no, and get better.
At the moment, at the time,
you don't
maybe DNA dream me far at the end when they say waka ewo kukuemu na yentia and then yamen kwana meka ya yenti you. Me kwa de misha wo mu aha nti wo sa begina bontene a ade na mpanyimfo edi kan ya yenti o obi a megina bontene nka de bia me ka che me mani me nwanketo say aya na ye say the political party ye say so your friend say secret society sometimes and ye kenyina nyina ye wo say ye de ba bontene nti say wo kan e wo kukuamu mpanyimfo kra bro wo so kan wo kukuamu ni you should be the last person I want to be and you try me crossing and you try.
Me were 2 questions and then I read some messages. Number 1, there is this other issue also hanging around your neck. The election that brought Alban Bagbin in as Speaker of Parliament.
Yeah.
The claim against you, say NPP for me, etoma Alban Bagbin no. Now we come and you betrayed the party in that election. What is our claim, number 1?
Mate, yes, me ko primary school me go for ne bisa me. Enya no kremi and I dare impanyufo a na ewo ho in leadership of parliament.
Yes.
Which at that time I was the immediate past leader.
Yes.
Me there wo say enkofo ekotuti ai na etu. Na yetu na brutu. It's why I don't know so you perceive a can someone na Adwoa Sarfo din ba mu nko ana na ya ye ne bibi. Why na say enkofo ekotuti ai na mu yetu. Hwe wo na say post to be by na me Sunday me constituency for.
Yes.
Say MPC bi kra so hia ye wo ye side no. Omo say omo kwaye Ken must go no na ye di wo mo ani na omo bi no so na kotutia okwe wante
no ba
enye omo say tu
na say nipa tutia okwe no omo doso
hwe me at the time na ye ta propose see ye de Professor Michael Kwe beba
yes
na ye ne da so leadership
sure
mene mpanyimfo bi ko mampanyi ho because so we leader wonti anim ho kwa said ne akirefo ne ka no ene o members ka no wo pick ne up wo ti se wo mo ka ene ne mampanyi ko di nkomo se ensem na o mo keka wo akire ho no say na ye pick na nti owo obi ka papa ne ho a
on propose you
mutu no na ansa na ye beye no so ko nhia MPC ni nyina na onfa di mienu ana miensa bi nto ho na omo ankasa nkyere na se ne ye ka se ye peke ne ma bi se ye boa obehunu so ma mpeke edin a wono no pe a obeka too many nkura. And I will say it on authority. Me this also chairman sabunsu nekoi. Or call say we me deputy beseni enko. I will propose. We made this proposal. Say niamo mo keka. Was MPs no ya ne yakasa we belong to caucus na. Say bi obi abone bra na obedi MP no. There's a level of control awo omo o kaze wo hwepe omo a obo hwepe na won hwepe because we abone bra o ye defo o ye panyini kra mposin o e na wa be aba ho. Into say bi obi bisa say the writings were on the wall for us from the beginning.
That if Michael Kwe should be proposed, some people on your side would vote.
Yes, and they were not quiet about it. To us, the leaders at the time, they were not quiet about it. Into Batia, so one tia, Doche or Justice Doche Dimbi Bemu. That is why names in our popea because our members were telling us, say, Muma Obi Shunya de Emra. Where one thing I can't cry about boying as a party. A dear, a D in your power or no name so, yes, our chamber near Okofa buying. So members were, yes. So the chamber drop that chamber be a bad giddy no. Your members need be no thought say a D party ninya. It's they had their reservations about
him.
About him. Which in penny for what party name be him. It's a do baby quad doche din by muka crassi president and road beside the amad doche and a young woman near ye na esakoi. and whole and behold nkrofo na no wo mo kase wo mo beye no na mo nye 2 and na mo nye 3 it wo ekotuti a no mo do so and I can say it on authority say me to mana me ma ho that day I was there.
You voted for him?
I voted because papa na no di any at the time and I was still a leader new leadership.
Yes.
Inti osi ono an yemfa ne nko inti ade no so yempe kura na e was yes and the way no enye principle and enye conviction bi anasa ade a formfo bi ana wasorifo bi be frɛ wa na say we ya ade a obi obetena ho no wadi mu anim.
But as to say you voting for him,
I voted.
You can say that before God and
I can say that before God and man. And that day nankasa no majority leader na me running late ono na chairman sabunsu ono na di ni motorcade ebe fa mi wo kwan mu e na me dey buy. Why do I go through all that stress? Me hwe delay me leader maka traffic mu o se me dispatch rider number e na obe yi mi wo yinim na ye de koy na nkosa line ye to aba. Knowing these things that I've discussed with you behind the scenes no I feel too we me kodru fia ye say Adwoa Sarfo ko to ma bagbe. How? Just say at the time and I make a say this thing was planned, orchestrated and reorchestrated. Just say every stage biano plan A and plan B beba. Into where I'm fire say way far. Because now at that time Adwoa Sarfo. That is what I thought. Me become papa me say papa then tell me. And what also spiritual I don't care I care. It was spiritual. Just idea orchestrated na aba into reality na go for be carrying it out. What see ehuru I bedru. Nyabotren kasa. And I did same. Inti Mr. 1 and about 2. And the co-opposite Professor Michael Kwe. It was more than 2
from Momo side Omodoso. And you are saying that on record. Say Omodoso.
Monsieur Omodoso saying sir. Omodoso saying sir I need 2.
And the MPC Cobres Womopa.
No mercy womobo because na consultations na there was a course na omo dia omo pese omo edeba no anko ne santi na bi mo asi omobo se yensu ye be ye ne ye pe. And to the extent that people were going to Mampenyi one-on-one. Yeah, they are drawing your evidence, your cameras. Move for camera now. Let's me to no. I didn't yes and I know. Munko famra me type metro no. Munko famra no. No more and a section of them too were defending. When a baba draw, if you won't go phobia was say Ukraine and Suya can. But there was no way me namin ko come as a move. Minko but me Mrs. say. I was any pan who ni soon in bang. I would dear Jumasha Nensa. And in my time as deputy leader, NDC for credit me one dancing.
As a deputy leader,
I worked as a leader of the house. Me yamu ye juma. To the extent say, a drum may be crowned me leader, to quite the neche jamia. No one suru. Because when him say I'm competent, make me a Juman or the Benjamin. To that only speaker no more to coin. I can manage the house. I copy him say or beba. It's why is it that Obi out there Juma can say we are shining some bills are passing during that time unprecedented. Because me and a raising me democratic leadership into ye bills are. Both the members 2-3 on no mabre. Say dry and promise ye beye near ye. Ubenya members nibi honorable Joe Wise so no ya de or snake kunyanim near ye near bills are ye around that time from 2017 to 2021. Ye pass bills and kase boa abaino. Inti ade na obeka say me ye dwuma we nyina awie no. Na makoye den. Me think me yi me free traffic mu ka me da. What will be only me be a mempa dear? Me soon near the chia, me body need me new. And I may cannot cry. Oh, cannot cry, I say, Ebia, which now papa was scanty, and so many things. But if Makume near the Muna, I didn't know what snap traffic, Munamasabet, na parliament, just to go and vote no. Now, my macrana said no, so ye belusu. Lucy one anyway. In Tadana may babe yet no keke. There be. Now, what I want to say, they say, Ghana funti, Domiko Benya funti. 2 tier Professor Michael Kwe, nenye 2, and ye 1. Constituency quad don't catch them say 1 near me. Then a campaigner, primary senior day court, near 1 pay. I dare them. that time your national security minister ombra no meka se na e one na na e brosa and enye two so
but you know say national security ekrasa intel no as to need
ekwofon na say no ya kan e wo na edu maybe na Carlos be fire otiti mu dey na otiti mu because numbers na two no ba out e be ha
anke be ha dwe
Carlos had to do something and he suffered it because of that. Sanki ye we knew na Carlos no kwatete no na say no. Ade na ekoso no so na enye e ba out say mo number say e si mo kra ye nim guase enti e say okono koye bibi na akoye say ade no kra ye nto e. Ah. And enye sa aba no so na declare speaker as speaker of parliament. Enti commotion ni ba ye no. Na wo say ye to aba ne foforo. But na e kwa koduru be 3 4 am. Yes, there was consensus. It's just that I just have a bag by. It's yes, I saw be online about 4 a.m. Yes, sir, and one yes, what constitution no a bit creative vacuum. It say you speaker. I'll best way in the next president or spread or swear parliament in we are and so there cannot be a vacuum. It's your time no. 4 no afi na yenta be to 275 ye bet frɛ obi adin 11 na it will run into the next day emwa ye mu bia it's impanyfo at the time say consensus ne say yemfa ade ne ma bagben esi dan na ya ade we na afi mu ba abontene amosi Adwoa Sarfo na tuma
bagben. One point I have not paid attention to inti meaning say the voting itself no enye voting result ne declare no Intitimu
baye.
There was a consensus.
General consensus.
Say and you are arguing, say, but for intervention from Tema Central MP, no, our tete ballot nibi no, sanka omokan ya, anka no ne krabe bebre mo.
Akenim gwase baba.
Tema West mo me.
Tema West.
Akenim gwase.
Akenim gwase ne be mo. And on also suffer because of that. Sanki yenke ade na ukwe na na ede ba no no ade a oye. No, anka de nim gwase na eba. Na sa de ne course. Ene yempene na ntokwa na we ye ya no ofa mu no tete na de ya de ne yeso ote a wo he bebia na oni ko ne yes ne ko na sa wo behu. Asa wo ko parliamentary election. Yeah so de na wa wo hwe se ne ko na ebi bro so a wo wari a wo hu so wari. We wini so hu so wari. Se na ne ko no na Carlos edi be fa mu. Inti ya nkokan ya ba. Ene ye ka sa Adwoa Sarfo aba na ebe ka NDC for de ho ene de speaker bagben by. Given the circumstances, no, any constitutional provision, no, and the fact that we can't create a vacuum. Yet mean because it's a day, no, so you have to abandon the whole day. Not president Netio. That's not what the constitution says. Internet was a honor penny for etnasi or mutanasi, and almost some of the speaker bagben. So why do you go to the extent say young fans who are Adwoa Sarfo and the nim?
You've made the point consistently, say nipa binum ne orchestrate sa nneoma we nyina to achieve what? And I say this based on the fact say obia nim say a long standing political rival internally Michael Quay Jr. on a contested some very competitive primaries in the past. In the one your rivalry in the constituency. Are you saying so more na orchestrate sa nneoma we no nkofo a na omono elini towards Michael Quay Jr. and wanted to kick you out for Okwe Jr. to take over. Omono na yes sa nneoma we ana.
No dey any fisher. But Niameka Cho say I also may riding on my father's back, or also riding on the papa back. Probably. I don't know for a fact. But Niameka say the papa having served in parliament as a speaker for a whole term. Or when you yeah. So either Adwoa Sarfo was rising or and I say I don't whatever the conviction was, but the agenda was as an MP for Domiko Abenya. But our constituency in Sodi
Domiko Abenya is Adwoa Sarfo. Adwoa Sarfo is Domiko Abenya.
Period.
My memory 2024 elections quickly. There are those who believe say defeat we na mo so far, you know. na a referendum on Nana Danko Akufo-Addo Aban, a government you were part of as a cabinet minister. Mona as a monioma mubo monioma troka ne ma Ghana for a to abawi etiamo. What do you think about that? Saying a wadrin show.
Amemona yebu no obi yet sene o school there muna usia de and about 1 year so hwa wo betworo.
Yes.
Enti wadisua na wasuane akotiri mu no ho adetworo na betworo ne amake.
Yes.
Enti amemuo no ekoyi a results ne be positive. Ankoyi a results ne be negative. A simple arithmetic. Me sana medwin. Misusu say yes see ye nan yie e wo niema bi ho a anka ne to ye anto ye. Ye fa niema bi tra sa akeke. Edu baby kwa ukasa omo e wo se omo ne ye kasa ne ye kasa ko omo kasa kwa na omo kasa ya tenten de amai. No mu omo ni mu yeso ye brew ye wo mu no ye sacrifices wo mu hunu but when tie so a ebedi unya.
Yeah.
The voices of the people. Hey, the voice of God. Enti yentie na yan sisi ni ama ebi ni e-levy mamonye emwaye mode bakwa enkoye no wasa koye stakeholder consultations bebrebe mo ba still na enye say eniema na e wose ye de tuyie na na Ghana for ekan na bia ni wono ma na yetie won say uba first time ye asa asudie bi da so to prove yourself. Until first time ne dey wo dey check it ya boy ya hono modern pa but about second term ni mu no I say oh Ghana for age ya tumwa wie akola ya tototo fiama na di san aze yetirimu ye de oh enya hwe wo dey enya hwe wo dey umbesa de amaye ye break 8 ye be say but obi a no ye politically analytical a wo tena akire bia no wo hwe niema bi sanya na ye tutu ya namo na hu say anhwa eni mu it would have taken a miracle
to win the election.
To win.
But you were
especially in Ashanti region.
But you believed in Dr. Bawumia.
Of course.
You were part of his campaign.
Of course, and I still believe in him.
But how come you knew say enyade ebeko ye amamo?
Say niamani bi wo hono mo a wonye wo na wo Christian no wonye wo na wo gina animu as the president. Inti wo beka ba nye ni nyina na ye de be ye adwuma. Inti ni ye nyina ha ye pre eboa si ye be ma na kwanya nanka ne wo ka na ye ntie ne wo ka se ye nya ye nye no ananse bebi okwa ye ka kire no no so de ba no a enko yie no anka ono so abeye ne yie di amaye but ya manyokro na inti sana Ghana fo hu no Dr. Bawumia Nana Akufo-Addo mu nyina mo ye pe inti kutiaye in that regard inti emra ye call campaign wa Ashanti region akwan ya me ye kofa so wa Ashanti region me rehu me fi Asante man mu akwan pa ne nam so ye de bus e du ba bia bus ne kwa park ne afa Land Cruiser ko bus ntimi mfa so in Asante man e wona ye base. We don't need a miracle to announce soothsayer to tell us say si Asante man e wona ye base.
But you sat in cabinet.
I'm just kidding.
I get it. But in at cabinet, no, I know, sir, cabinet decisions and yadia obitima babe can't because of oath, over swear and all of that. But nas han komo we na ekoso na mudi hon komo. Did you understand what was happening? Say we needed to fix Ashanti region to guarantee
yeah, we knew and we thought say and can never see a yen in tem. Ubera banetro na mamuone to ne kasa no. Or yeah, changes kakra bi the honorable Sanse Boache ko so that obeteki advantage of the opportunity now called the assistant. But that was 6 months to election, was 7 months to election. Now that nyamani bi ban temwa because minia me na enya campaign na me kwa me pim Kumasi I wanna me fear when me do Kumasi pe me drew Asante man weekend now to me we ya na maba it me nim Nemra ni ye kokoko constituencies no krana se ni we no na me share road networks na wo baby a just say omoto ni boom no. I had the shock of my life. Inti made me when they say kasa no omo kasa nyina no mu di so omo kasa na emom no eto asumu no na emre na aka ni sha inti magic bia obeye bia no electorate no ma make your mind up that inti ne ono about sense boache be latter days no do ye bi de but enya no na be take be change your madwin omo felt say sane na wasi esiesie o man no sane na wasi ye niema bi in terms of education niema menka se ya anya bi o ukọ STEM schools are honorable napo de kokọ ho ne won keka won nyina utu say ye bi wo ho but in terms of MP be lose a road to ade ehu hia constituents ba ya kwan yo do me kwa benya refi hey yes we twin any pounds but hey ya kwan a kwan is everything. If you want to win election, other infrastructural development, I can't say who here.
But a kwan is critical.
Obi be hospital a kwan, or nebe ko school a kwan, and then okwa adwuma a kwan. A kwan or kwa sorry a kwan who here papa. And it's a be aduane or the be seen the table so obedi and then ma are you okay? Yeah. Health and all other things eba HD in determining electorate or move votes. Yeah. Inti asante mai ya besremo esamo ya besan aba ne anim obedidi nkomo na ne anye yie no ya be ne yie na me I was surprised and this city minya 6 other seats e ka ho e wo Ashanti how
e ye wonwa
I am one still date
na say ukon cross no hu say
but na me nim so wo mu de before de be be ma mo sa
it is 7 ne ba as a surprise.
Oh, so na bu mutaka de ya de yansa keka na ye ntimi nti on de o ye mo gabi na ote ho nti enim say one ne de asa wan se de ye kosoro ba for mo aye nya but the other na be ka ho no for me I will say you feel Ashanti
but you say whatever happened in the elections no the blame cannot be placed on Dr. Bawumia.
On do ye dey
oye dey say
no kure e no mo peso wo mo ka e wo party wi mu Dr. Bawumia oye den
on na oye mo flag bearer
e na make catch of flag bearer last year no ye number 2 na wotie we dimate uka see your pa na ye befa ye pa ye mfa that is exactly what happened.
And do you think
it's almost a report no
yes
me see Professor Michael Kwe a otro report no report no sha see a first page on start with Domi Kwabenya the backyard on no start say na Dr. Bawumia ye say and na Ghana for one pen no and no ma start no mo dey ba me ye ka kire wo mo say me see Professor Michael Kwe report no on fa Domi Kwabenya nye page 1 no ntro ho asem ne ba no ne enti olusu Domi Kwabenya otimi kire ya report ne ya ka nyina ye befa enti sa ye befa honorable say chairman sabonsu omo report no mo dey aba no eno na ye krogen
and they all can say more.
Next day debut.
If you want to see feedback.
Charity begins at home. Yes, I can.
Yeah, that's true.
Ti onim report ma no nim report to try. Me say on fa do me kwa benya page 1. The report no na etwa so ansa no we do Dr. Bawumia so. Eno de ebedi atum otimi kire yen pa na yehwem na enokre wakeka nokre ne enti a obema kentinka eko gina akonwa no oba besia 29 years miko gina anu mitimi akonwa for 12 years e de ama party ama yetimi agi akonya ne de asi wo vote no so afi bia na ekosoro e de enti na ne baba mu akentinka sabe ye ka se etwere be ma bo ade na tuo ni twere ne ba be ma ne bo ne ye wi wo Domi Kwabenya otimi ka kire yen a onfa sobo no so mbo Dr. Bawumia se ono na ama yare sente sa de a onyi Dr. Bawumia film na baby asobo na wo se ye de kono yen fanko.
But if you have another opportunity you would support Dr. Bawumia as mo flag bearer.
You best support
given another opportunity.
But every person deserves a second chance for me. Obia deserves a second chance.
Okay.
Na Akufo-Addo ya deni kwa ba kono etija wo. Ya deni kwa mienu etija. Ne mprensa so na betena etena kunya no so. ya kan ya kan so no ya boni dua konya no ontimi fa ne ton kan so da Ghana fo ebi kekan enso Nyankopon hye ne ho animonyam ye de Nana Akufo-Addo betena so His Excellency iti ada ne ye de one ticket akoba ako Dr. Mahmoud Baumi akoba ako na ya ye nim boni a ye di ye Ghana fo ye ni da ho ne ye kan ye ntie MPs kan abuei we wa obeka bia no ne targeting o constituency see betu cause who boy against ewo mu so na enokre e na ne ye ka no adentu no no akoba ako ono de ye se ye de ne ba biom enye ye edi entia Professor Mills okoba ako ne fai okoba ako amfa most of the times who first strike wa me ko MP first wa me lose ye okay me second time me win ye inti ena the power of incumbency no utimi use no o second term because first term no aya na amafo ne ye wo de say afi no mamba wo de yen hwe o kakra unya twa 8 ni wi a na Ghana for your madwin say ne ye de be ma wa kwan ya ye de be ma kwanya ye de be ma wa ne de ama wo ya wa ya na wa ye ne tikọ no obi mra it we were fighting against all odds ena ne ya nso ya ntoto ne ma bi ye ene ne kosi ye Wishafo bi e wo say bana nkofo bi ko regency bi kokko ye adwuma last minute say mampanyi eyiyi nkofo bi adi na mfaso bi ani so e kosi apathy e wo regions no omo yiyi nkofo adi wo regions there be e wo aban mu e na nya effect wo regions ni mu okay and this are Wishafo na e course last minute na then Wishafo we Wishafo kanya kabne me card yeah na okay Wishafo ndi say anya major one bia oh okay but me pa say SOEs no edu be 6 months 7 months no or say we nko we mra won sa de ni say no e de yaudie e baaye ko ebi mo na no mu di nkomo a ne region na ofi mu no na na o ye backbone e wo region ho a ono ne hwe mo party fo ni we no wa betena fie ne chitafo ni nyina ase munya me yenhwe sa ne koye munya me yenhwe a ne omo ye ne koja ade ni guye nti yaudie bi obeya na wa ye ne ntem na reconciliation ni animu akoso but 7 months 6 months to elections a ne ma ase chess bi a ne ye bobo no na emwa ena nipa na ode ne ba 7 months then obetimi ai ontimi nya nti obeya na wa ye wa nya latter day reshuffle ni masesa we ni so ha adwen papa ha adwene okay ebi mu afọ musika mba omo nso na etene mu achewo ebi anye campaign no ebi sika nso e wo so mo de bo omo amfa amwa because yaudi aba nipa na tene mu 7 months 7 years 3 months yes now you na dia enyo no wa benefit from amamuo ne mo nti onu na nka wo say oso yasene but yaudi eba mu pe no akotena ne baabi o se munya me enhwe amwa Obisa Mimusao, before we end on a light note, I say during her impasse in the Eswal Gov, she was heard abandoning her Ghanaian English and resorting to American slangs in her. Yeah. And also now, there was a new branding be an also put out. No, and the crowd can be. I mean, Pari ne ade. Well, so recently, Bolarebe posted interview be in the 90s.
Yes, I saw.
I think I know me free America about for. Okay. My accent has never changed.
It's been there all this.
And people think me bani yari ya me call hono. No, I worked
too short a time.
Yeah. I worked in the office of the Attorney General for the District of Columbia, DC, AG's office. That is where I worked after my schooling. Can you tell me, sir? Into what you can Ghana, the rinsing, and the many abrofi, and the year Juma. No. Sometimes when you obey your local politics now, I was there with me. Kakra ni way. I am sure it's me say, oh,
accent no hoda.
I'm more
you speak more American English than Ghanaian English.
No,
that's more like it.
But politics need to refine it. Sir Dominic Onimiache, he knows that. But I do, baby. No, what's that? Oh my Ghana, no.
Yeah, Ghana, the end
because the first time now, me and crack on I to tiam.
About primary.
Let's suppose go just a funny bubble, maybe if you are broaching about science. It's now a service. say Akolande no one feel no more.
Wow, that's interesting. But again, so because now videos ne trendy.
Yeah.
Now a part of healing way and videos now never.
Oh, but could be a buy na na everyday. Everyday you want dey ni biom. Hey, yes you want dey but we abom my dine home.
Sir. And on a part of healing process and
no, it's hard down no.
When I say amount for Casa Adwoa here, not TikTok video back one drop it. Now
everyday you want dey ni biom. I know dear. Minia.
We brutal.
When him. When him no. Hey, ni just be na matter sad dan wo ho.
Okay.
Na me ba na wie surgery. Me akọ physio, how your friend physio, how friend rehab. Me akọ physiotherapy for a long time.
Sure.
And we tutu. And omo ka che me say obetimi aye.
Yes.
Etimi aye work bio ma sa abo basketball mpo. And I'm say everyday. Sa ye ni biom. Ay, ave ade to ya me say. Ade to ya. Me nya when from me also say. Oh boy bibi for akuti am say hey. Sisi dey. Me nyame aye for ade a wa ya ma me ni mabusua. Hey. Me ba ma na se hu no. 10 gram kama na ko bebubu egu form. Otu ni akwa rehab ye to ne na ni ato. Ye bia na sad na tena wheelchair mu. Ana crutches na ye de na batina ka mu ni ye ko. Be me na wo gina wa wo tutu. Hey, ni je kese ma me. Onye biom no on 1910 say na 11. It o mani ndwane. Afegana for you say Adwoa say MPP.
MPP for it.
Then na see MPP mo na me bo.
And this atano mo nyina ye apprehensive Adwoa wo hen e11 ye the day Adwoa ma parliament. Na video ba kwa drop it. Adwoa sa.
No ba cho na entisa. Na me wani je mu pa.
It is say Obama wo pokwase o say ono ankasa na wadwaw. Ba enne he's been so impressed with your interview this afternoon.
Thank you. That's it.
Say Obama in Pokwase. We say Obi, ask Adwoa why their government didn't help his father's company to go forward, especially their cars. And I think we would end on this note. Yatise ene papa at the company ni bibi asha no credit.
It's a dinesha
It is here what's your new way in the company? You are the CEO.
Yeah.
You are now the CEO.
Yeah.
Of the group and I said
of the group, the whole group. And then I was ordained and sorry so me sorry ni nyina so ma.
Sorry mame and I also for mame and I den. And how yes, see how yeah.
It's akokra
general overseer of the church.
Oh, akokra ntias you. What am mama say post obey you medio.
Okay.
It is the deputy.
The deputy general overseer of the church. And I was share company ni.
Exactly, in patron.
Oh wow. Then send you your time in your politics bill.
Oh, so see there. So 4 years na a woman na ye regroup anyway, you know, intimate so me the many e be hwe adwuma no na ye de niam atutu yi na. Olman see ni fie no kwa ni.
Some of the business units now brothers live in the head. Cars ne de ne ade no ana.
See ni de ni nyina me ana me.
Bibia ba be hwe wo nsa. O hwe farms ne hwe cars ne
hwe church. Your quarry, your transport company, your hospitals, your pharmaceutical companies, your schools. Just a post ni nyuma no a whole empire on his own. Inti everything bibia sana technological side ne wo ho na automobile no so e wo ho and your savings and loans and so it's a whole empire. He has
about to take care of bibia
exactly. Now don't go tell nya ne baba na hwe na djuma ana meboa.
Yeah, that's true.
Women can manage things better. Intimidate me so say.
But I thought we saw business unit heads.
Oh yeah, heads in everyone.
They will report, they will report to
exactly,
you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a lot of confidence. How papa nya wo.
Pa. Wabo card the Marcos.
Yeah, the Marcos.
Bebre.
Now when you're the firstborn.
I am the first.
Oh, you're the firstborn.
Patrolman na bakan biologically. Apostle wa ma bebre.
Oh, okay.
But na sinemu ma me na.
Sinemu ma no na you first.
Patrolman na me penny.
And na sinemu ma no mo yesan.
Yes, 7.
7. You are the first.
Yeah, mema miensa, ema 9.
Oh, okay. Then a matter of course say he would hand over to you.
Me patrol.
And you've also built capacity to be able to manage.
And confidence.
And the confidence.
Ono so nya confidence for me mo say. Ye makosuasua nyina no. Sa memu kra no. Ana mrahye bedwa ni nyina kra no. Yetimi de we second in command. I'm sure say you can manage the whole family. The church is a family, is a movement, is a
There's also membership here, 1 point something million.
Yeah. You also you external branches. American quite about 5 branches. England, other parts of Europe, Germany, Italy, France, baby.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
We wish you well. I mean, we would remember you in our prayers. Now, Yasha said, Bibia Betime Akoye. Enti Ekosi Saints ne Haya Sempa 94.7 FM. Adwoa Yedasi, wish you very well. And when you decide, say Afi, and on my last question, say you've not said goodbye to politics. You've not said goodbye to politics.
No,
to competitive politics. Like you've not said goodbye to contesting for a position.
Contesting for a position.
MP, national executive election.
I haven't said goodbye to politics, any form of politics. I haven't made goodbye to it.
Very well. Very well.
Just 4 years CD. Maybe me old man
to build
the whole business empire.
Very well.